Hi, everybody. Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. I hope everybody's doing well. Hello to Marilyn's Tarot Take. Hello to Rolf Matson. Hello to Red Wing. Hello to Saskia Handley. That's all who's here so far. Beautiful day. The weather's changing. We just had Halloween yesterday. It was very windy and rainy the last few days. Difficult weather. It's kind of hard to get used to the weather changing, and I often catch a cold or get sick when the weather has a drastic change. But I'm okay. I'm gonna look at or share with you today an oracle deck that I bought. I don't remember what channel I saw this on, but I saw somebody do a walkthrough, and I was intrigued enough to investigate further. Now, I'm not typically an oracle fan. I maybe have 3 or 4 oracle decks out of my whole collection. And generally, it doesn't work for me so much. I like the images to tell their own story, or if there are words on the card, I like a single suggestive word rather than having a lot of text that spells everything out for me. I'm not a fan of affirmation decks, although I know some people enjoy them and they might need that pat on the back. Oh, hi, Kim Moon Whisperer. But yeah, I don't really need the pat on the back. I mean, any pat on the back I need, I can get from working with tarot. It kind of delivers its own pat on the back through whatever it reads for me. I don't need a little sort of affirmative pep talk to keep me going. I mean, when I do, I order Chinese food and get fortune cookies, and there's a little affirmation in each cookie. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hard and sorry if I sound like I'm being sarcastic or snarky about affirmation decks or oracle decks, but generally they either don't give me enough information or the wrong kind of information or too much information. But the reason I got this was I liked the images. I was intrigued by the images. And I think these only have one word on each card, which if there have to be words at all, I think that's preferable for me. Now, the problem with this deck, I haven't even showed it to you yet. The Oracle of the Radiant Sun, astrology cards to illuminate your life. It's a box set. It turns out it's by Red Feather, which I didn't realize. And also, I don't study astrology. You know, on a rare occasion, lightheartedly, I'll, look at the meaning of an astrological sign, or I'll, look in a paper or magazine at your daily or monthly reading or something like that. But I don't really investigate into the position of the stars and planets and do charts and all that stuff. It's just not something that I've been willing to get heavily into yet. And so you might ask, well, why did you get this deck? I think that, or I'm hoping that I can use this deck at face value. And if I decide later on at whatever point that I want to get into astrology, I can delve into it, but I don't feel like I should have to depend on that to use the deck, even though that was sort of the intention. There comes in this box, it's a hard case box, little ribbon pull here with a shelf that's kind of hard to get out. Very snug. And inside is a substantial guidebook. The guidebook is 144 pages, and there's information about various symbols, astrology, the planets, the 12 signs, the oracle cards themselves, and they seem to be in suits. Like the first suit is the sun, the suit of fortune. So, I don't even know. There's a method to the madness, so to speak. And I don't know what it is yet. And I don't know if I even want to go there. What I probably will do is I will pull these cards as I shuffle and use them, and I'll contemplate the imagery and the keyword on the card. And if I want to know more, I'll go through the book and see what it has to say. And if I want to know more than that, I'll try and figure out the system. Inside the box is 2 wells with cards in them. The deck is divided into two pieces that are in this sort of well here. But I'm just going to combine them, and what am I missing? I'm missing something. Oh, I see what happened. Something shifted here, and wait. 6. No, I don't know. These seem to be color coordinated, and I'm not really clear on what's going on here. All right. I guess I'll just stick with the one deck, and then when I get to the other, maybe it will sort itself out. Hi, MA, and hi, Apex. So the cards themselves are kind of stiff cards. I guess they're sort of playing card size, more or less. These are the backs, which are all right, I guess, unoffensive. The images look sort of vintagey, and I think I might value this deck more if it didn't have a kind of a cutout bargain bin sort of kit quality to it. There's something about the stark white cardstock that, if these were linen finish and they were more like antique-y looking or vintage looking, somehow I could probably get more excited about it. But the fact that it's packaged like a kit, it looks to me like something that would be on a marked down to $7.98 table in one of the chain stores or something. I can't help it. That's the way it looks to me. The images themselves, though, are very interesting. I'm not sure if somehow they're collaged or where the information came from, because they look like old engravings, and they look very much to me like some of the images from the Grand Detail, and also the kind of images that inspired the illustration work of Robert M. Place, if you see what I mean or know what I mean. So here, in this first set or suit, I guess it's numbered, and it's this. I think this is the suit of the sun, and the first card is assertion. And in the corner, we have symbols. I think one might be a zodiac sign, one might be a planet sign. I'm not really sure, but I don't really care. Hey, Zach. Love this oracle, but I'm never confident enough to read with them. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, that I want to be able to read with them regardless of whether I study the system or not. I just want to be able to look at the images and the keywords. You might just say, well, why don't you just get a deck with the keywords on it, or get some index cards and write the keyword? I could do that. It just sort of like adds a little something extra to have the visual there. Hi, Antoinette. I guess she likes this oracle too. So here we have assertion. And I might ask you to think about what these keywords might mean to you as I'm going through. I hope not to linger too long because I have less than an hour, and I think there's more than 78 cards in the deck. So I'm just kind of go show them all to you. So we have for card number 1, assertion. I'm not sure about assertion with this image, but okay. 2 is acquisition. Now, the arch on these cards, I think, signifies, and the color signifies, this is the suit of the sun, and I don't know what that means, but I don't know that it matters for me right now if I'm just looking at the word acquisition and this imagery. I can sort of delve into that later. Yeah, I just want to be able to focus on the images. I get too focused on the planet plus zodiac sign equals meaning. It's good for the Decan walk as well. See, I don't even know what that is. I've heard the word, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know right now. Maybe later on. Like Marilyn says, I really like this deck so far. Yeah, I like the images. I just want the cards to have a more vintagey, less budget kit cutout feel to them. But I mean, these images have a similar kind of quality or value to me as, say, the Atea, or there's a kind of a mystery about like antique looking decks that I love. That's one of the things I love about tarot, is more kind of traditional or old world fortune telly quality, you know. Here we have versatility. And I'm not going to be able to tell you right now, just glancing at these by the cards, what they mean. I mean, if I can get through this quickly and shuffle it, maybe we can try a quick reading. Tarot of the Holy Light or Hexen 2.0 looks good with this. It's a great study deck. There's a Moon version 2. Marilyn, I agree on how it's boxed, not my favorite box. Zach says, personally don't think it's good for the Decan walk, but I still take a gander at them when I read up on the Decans. Deacons? MA, well, I didn't even know the planet plus zodiac stuff was on it till now. But see, I'm saying I don't know that you need to have that to work with the deck. All right, resourcefulness. So maybe let's not dwell on those symbols just yet. Maybe the first thing that we're confronted with is the image, and then we look at the title and think about that. I'm not going to get too much into these being in suits or numbers, but there you go. Resourcefulness. Fortune. I love the kind of old-fashioned engraving quality of the imagery. Health. Harmony. I'm not even sure I'm going to have too much to say about this deck other than to show you the images and the keys. Unless something inspires me in what I see. Hello, Claire. It does look like an older system has met modern card stock. The keywords are cool. Endurance. Now, if this came in a fancy indie box on linen cardstock and had a kind of a parchment color paper, I don't know why, but I would value it more. it shouldn't make a difference, but there would seem something like mysterious and old and very special about it, as opposed to kind of, is it meant to be read with on its own or paired with tarot? It's an oracle, a zodiac oracle, or what's this say? Astrology cards to illuminate your life. Oracle of the Radiant Sun. That's right on the cover. Here we have enthusiasm. And this might not even be a deck I ever end up using. I was just intrigued enough to want to see all the images, and wasn't cheapest, but I mean, I think it was about $27 on Amazon. Achievement. So it wasn't bad. I mean, when I buy these decks sort of on a whim, it's kind of like, when I think about, am I getting my money's worth out of it? Am I getting that much worth of entertainment out of it? Because you go to a show or a movie or whatever, and you spend a certain amount to be entertained for a couple hours. Am I going to get more than a couple of hours entertainment out of it? Then it was probably worth it to me. The box is the first impression, like the cover of a book. Yeah, the box kind of put me off. Emma says, just chuck the box, put it in a cute pouch, and pretend it's indie. Yeah, I can do that. But the cardstock still, it's kind of like, you see what I mean? I think the back is more telling than the front about kind of like a cheapy looking kit. That stark white. It's a little bit more disguised on the front. And if this were, say, U.S. Games or Los Scarabeo or, that kind of cardstock, even Llewellyn or whatever, I think it might feel more kind of legit. That's probably the wrong word. It's just, I mean, sometimes you can find really wonderful kits and things on sale on these bargain tables, Barnes and Noble, but or in discount shops. But it's just, often they feel like they're demeaned or devalued by their appearance. How many of the tarot peeps keeping and storing their decks in their original boxes, no matter how big the box is? The box is the first impression, like the cover of a book. Vision. I think these are, in some ways, these also remind me a little bit of my favorite deck that I use, which is the Manuscript of Initiation, which has kind of a main image on it, a central image, but then peripheral symbols floating around it. And these are kind of the same way. There's like, multiple images on here. So where does your eye gravitate to first? And then it sort of wanders around on the card and looks at the other parts of the card and thinks about that. So here we have the Tiger's Abyss, protection. I toss 75% of mass market boxes to save space. My only problem with tossing the boxes, MA, is when I put them in pouches to try and remember which deck is in which pouch. Whereas if I see a box on a shelf, I usually can identify by the outside artwork which deck it is. And depending on how big your collection is, it can get tricky if the material or whatever in your pouch doesn't remind you of the deck that's in it or match what's in it. Then, I mean, as it is now, there are some decks where I think, oh my God, which pouch is that in? And then I've got to go through 4 or 5 to find the deck. Now, most pouches have like a little drawstring or something on them. And somebody at some point, I can't remember which channel creator it was, had little plastic, like almost like luggage tags or something, that they put on each of their drawstrings with the name of the pouch on it, which might be a helpful way to identify stuff that's in bags. Manuscript of Initiations can double as an oracle with the extra added images. It can. This is the second reprint of this oracle. The first one out of print and had a similar box but superior cardstock. Okay. Exaltation. We seem to be on to another suit now because we're back to number 2. And this color is yellow as opposed to, what was the first one? Oh, the first one wasn't consistent in color. Number 3 is adaptability. I shouldn't even mention the numbers because I'm not sure the significance of the numbers, whether there's a scale going up in interpretation. Yeah, I'm not going to delve too much into how to work with this deck. I'm just going to kind of show you the images. Hello, Raven Tarot Meditation. Friendship. And I love this old style, kind of late 1800s illustration, like children's book illustration style. There's a sort of a nostalgia about it I like. Appreciation. Well, this looks a little different. This looks almost like a Sibylla card or something. Order. I get this one right off from the keyword and the imagery. Order makes sense to me in this card. Companionship. That one works. Power. I don't know. The power of what? The power of the sun, power of the moon, the power of dreams, the power of the door, of moving through the door to go forward. I don't know. Optimism. Practicality. Like the cattails. And the colors are nice. Independence. Oh, and if you tuned in today for shelf clear out, I'll be doing that probably next week. I'm not finished with that until I'm finished. So there's quite a bit more to go, but I don't want it to just be that. So I'm going through them with interviews and new decks interspersed in between just to kind of shake things up a little bit. Power of intuition of all 9 of the above with Moon and Scorpio. Would love to see this deck in linen finish. That's what I said, yeah. And I'd like to see it actually kind of on an ivory stock rather than stark white, or parchment kind of stock. I mean, coloring wise. Restlessness. I'm curious as to how many of you in the chat already have this deck, and if you're able to use it, and if you use it other than the way the book dictates, like, just generally speaking, can you use it just as an oracle with a word? Resistance. excitement. Uh, just to let you know, the book says it's by Caroline Smith and John Astrup. Now, I'm not sure who is responsible for the book and who's responsible for the imagery, or maybe it's a total 50-50 collaboration. Intuition. Antoinette just uses it as an oracle clarifier with keywords mostly. I'm also one, Marilyn just ordered it. I'm also one who I don't really pair decks. I mean, I have paired majors only with Lenormand, but that's kind of weird. I don't generally pair two complete decks or an oracle with a tarot or anything like that. I don't know. I mean, I guess you can get stuff out of that, but for me, I like a deck to sort of stand on its own. Drama. I'm giving you drama. Caution. I think the images are really interesting. And they're not just like straightforward. It feels like they need a little intuitive daydreaming or contemplation. Influence. Interesting. Extremism. I think these probably were culled from old books that had engravings in them and then recolored and maybe kind of collaged together. The style of these figures isn't as refined as some of the others, but they still look like they're, I don't know, engravings or woodcut or something like that, as opposed to, or etchings, as opposed to pen and ink line drawings. Antoinette, I have 4 of her decks. I don't know who her is. I assume you mean the creator of this. I love the Elemental Tarot, Antoinette. The others are different art style. Okay. Discovery. Organization. Sorry, folks, if I'm doing a lot of panning and scanning, the image on my screen is like 3 inches high by 5 inches wide because I'm in StreamYard and I don't really know how to make it bigger and see the chat at the same time. And I want to make sure that you're able to see all the details on the card, which I can't so well when I do this. Although I expect you probably can, unless you're watching on your phone. Originality. Inspiration. Lust. Oh, also they're kind of glossy. I guess you got that by now. Romance. Flattery. Birth. I like these sigils. Affair. Discrimination. Now I'm on to the second half. Indecision. This is like the Four of Cups. Secrets. Makes me think of the Seven of Cups. Flirtation. Convention. How many of you, when you get guidebooks, hate to read the guidebooks or love to read the guidebooks? I love to pick up a deck and never have to look at the guidebook, unless it's something that I'm really intrigued by and the book is kind of standalone and totally enjoyable. It feels sort of like apples and oranges to me. Like, I don't feel you should have to rely on a book to be able to use a deck. But if the book enhances the deck, yeah. And if it's a joy to read as opposed to a text. Detachment. Depends on the guidebook. Submission. Impulsiveness. Defense. Decision. Quarrel. Egotism. I love the look of that chicken. Cock of the walk. Egotism, maybe. Criticism. Oh, that hand looks so familiar. That looks like something from a Dover clip art book. Actually, all these images could be collaged from something like that, and maybe they were. Criticism. Choice. Revenge. Domination. Authority. Rebellion. It's interesting how some of these are divided up into quadrants or halves, or it's the images are segmented somehow. Escape. Enterprise. Status. Bluff. Interesting. This looks like the Minoan snake goddess, but she's not holding snakes. It looks like they've reconfigured the hands to do something else. I have a little bronze mini statue of this goddess in my medicine bag, or whatever you want to call it, my charm bag. Speculation in my shoulder bag, along with my tarot decks that I take out with me to the cafe. I also have a little bag that has, many gods and goddesses and crystals and beads and various things in it that are of spiritual significance, you might say, to me. Publicity. Some of these words, I don't know. Publicity? Patience. Seems like all of these are qualities, right? Or most of them. Negotiation. Have you ever thought of making your own oracle deck? If you have, what kind of words would you make a list of to use in your oracle deck? Would they be nouns? Would they be verbs? A mixture? Adjectives? How would you choose your words? I feel like if I was going to do it, I would want to pick words that have more than one meaning to them, so that there's some variability, that there could be some subtlety into how it's read, depending on what the spread of the layout might be. Manipulation. Principle. As intrigued and mysterious as I find these images to be, I'm already getting the feeling this deck is not for me. I will look through it a few times. I might hold on to it a few months, but I have a feeling I'm not going to use it. I could be wrong. It's just my first impression. Control. I may have control over it. I may have no control over whether I'm drawn to it or not. Innovation. It's just kind of fun to look at random images, though, and think, if you didn't have a word, what would they say to you? What would they mean to you? How do you read them intuitively? Seduction. Risk. Ostentation. Concentration. We're getting pretty near the end if you're getting impatient. Charity. Can't say the deck is too samey. I mean, it might feel like there's a similarity in the style of the imagery, but I mean, the images are all over the place. Generosity. I wouldn't say I've seen many or any other decks that look like this. Isolation. It does kind of remind me of a Sibylla deck, or what's the other what's it called? I can't think. Not Sibylla. There's another method. One of those decks, but those are like dictate a little bit too clearly or exactly what the images are meant to be. Can't think of the word, but it'll come to me in a minute. No, not Lenormand. Thanks, M.A. I think it's a Kipper. Kipper and Sibylla, I think, are what these remind me of. Devotion. And I don't think I own either of those, actually. Inheritance. Fulfillment. Riches. Eccentricity. And loss. So since this is numbered, but it's numbered in suits, I can't tell you how many are in here because I wasn't counting. I don't know if each group has. That ended in 12. Do they all have? Yes, it's 12. 12 in each suit. 3. Maybe it says. Well, I'm not sure. It might be that if there are 12 cards, that could be 12 astrological signs. Maybe there's 12. No, there 12 of 12 would be 144. I don't think there are that many cards. I think it's a little bit more than a tarot deck, so it might be like 80 cards or something. You can see actually there's a little bit of a split where it was divided into 2 halves. And it's a little thick, a little bit, not too bad. Let me see if I'm able to Overhand shuffling isn't bad. They don't really stick or clump, which is good. Let's see, what time is it? 1:46. So we've got about 14 minutes. If I can get this shuffled enough, we'll try some kind of a reading out of it. Anybody got any questions or comments, or did I lose everybody and everybody left? I see a few of you here. I could show you a fake deck that I bought accidentally, but I'm kind of reluctant to do that. I don't want people to go looking for it. I think there are several ways to use it. All right, let's just see. Do you have something to tell us today? What do you have to tell us? Hello, Will. Is there anything we should ask it? Is it okay if we just read you like an oracle with images and words and not deal with the system you are designed to give us? Oh. Intuition. So follow your intuition as to how to use this deck. Flirtation. The deck seems to be flirting with us in terms of all the bright colors and images and ways to potentially use it. Order. There does seem to be an order to the system, whether we make use of the order or not. Maybe we develop our own order in terms of handling with intuition and flirtation. So already I'm kind of being able to use it. Power. You have the power to use this deck however you please. And last card, inspiration. However you're inspired to use it, use it. Well, I guess I got my answer, huh? So maybe I can read with this. Marilyn, the more I see it, I like it more and more. Perfect, says M.A. Anybody have any questions for it? We can try a reading. Will, that's a very clear answer. Yeah. Let's try something a little more challenging if anybody has a question. Something specific. Let's see what I can do with this. I mean, when I looked at the box, I didn't really pay much attention to the box. I think I saw somebody doing a walkthrough or something. Wish I could remember which channel. And I was kind of intrigued. I actually put off by the word oracle and almost didn't go any further. But then when I saw the images, I thought, wait a minute. You're being too hasty about that. See what these images are about. And then when it says astrology cards to illuminate your life, I thought, oh, can I use it if I don't want to deal with astrology? Hello, no thanks. Do I have to say it? I'm not sure what you mean. Is the A. I don't know what you're talking about. Is is the 31 Atlas here in our galaxy to help us? Well, I'll ask it that, but that's impulsiveness. I feel like that was perhaps an impulsive question. Impulsiveness regarding what is it? Is it an asteroid or a comet, or what is it? Impulsiveness. Impulsiveness feels to me like we rush to certain conclusions, giving little known bits of information. That is the big unknown thing in our galaxy now. So we might impulsively run to look for or define an answer depending on what we have. Is defying the laws of physics. Next card is achievement. Yeah, this one's not as easy to read, so I don't know. Impulsiveness, achievement, you tell me. Enthusiasm. Well, obviously something strange in the galaxy will garner enthusiasm. Achievement may have to do with delving into study or an investigation more. I feel like impulsiveness and enthusiasm both surround human interest in this question of this story. Achievement will have to do with the more practical nature of investigating. Endurance. So endurance, there's a time element, I think, involved in endurance, but also we have to endure the amount of time between the unknown and the known in terms of investigating things. It's baffling, NASA, says Marilyn. Harmony. Ultimately, we have to come to a place of harmony in all things. I'm going to stop there, I think. 153. Is that speaking to our perception of it instead of what it is? Yeah. But isn't that true of everything? Everything that is what we perceive it to be. We don't all perceive the same thing, but I don't know. Some argue that existence is perception. Just like cards, a deck of cards feel like they have meaning, but they have different meanings to everybody that uses them. Some of them seem to coincide or synchronize, but some of them, and different decks resonate with different people on different levels. All right, well, I'm going to leave you 5 minutes early so you can go grab a beverage or something if you've got something else lined up. Usually I tend to sort of lead in for Simon at the Hermit's Cave, but he and Sandra are in Glastonbury this week, and I don't know if he has returned in time to do a live today. I believe he said he wasn't coming back till Sunday, or maybe Sandra's staying till Sunday and he's coming back today. In which case, he might be there because I think there's 5 hours different over there. So he's ahead of me. It's evening already in the UK. It's 2 here, it's 7 o'clock there. So yeah, okay. So I'll look for you guys all next week when we'll be doing shelf number, Is it 6 or 7? I forgot. I'd have to look at what I've already put out there to tell you. I think it might be shelf number 7 next week. See you then. Have a great week, everybody. Bye, and thanks for joining me today.